What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/MaliciousCompliance. This story's called Karen and Her Email Problems. This story was originally meant for r/Tales from Tech Support, but due to their rules, it wasn't allowed to be posted there. It's kind of a mix between revenge and a tech support call. A bit of background. I own a web hosting and MSP company, which I've set up 2 years ago with some friends with similar interest. We have a few serious clients, but things have been sailing smoothly and quietly for some time. We're not a big company, and we only spend a few hours a week doing actual work for it. So we have phone support, even though nobody is almost ever physically at a desk when we get a call. We only get calls maybe twice a week. We pick up, walk to a PC, or grab a laptop in the meantime. Sometimes it takes a minute after picking up the phone before we can actually help. Most of our clients know this and have no problem with it at all. We usually provide quick solutions, and most of the time we do support for free. Here's the actors. Me, obviously. Karen? Angry lady, client company's administrative person. She was just hired 2 weeks ago. Boss. Client boss that I've had regular contact with. The story. Insert standard corporate greeting. Hi, this is Karen from company. I have issues with sending email. I'm sorry to hear that. If you give me a second, I'll walk to my desk so I can look into it. Now, it's important to note that we know most contacts from the bigger clients and are on a first-name basis with most. Although we are not a big company, we provide services tailored to our clients' specific needs. As such, we have regular conversations over email discussing their services. This was the first time I spoke with Karen since she got hired recently. Why aren't you at your desk already? This is urgent and I need this sorted ASAP. We're not paying you for your time if you're slow and unhelpful. I scream internally already. I'm sorry, Karen. I'm just now arriving at my desk. I see you've been recently added to the mail system. Is this the first time you've tried sending an email from your... No, I've sent many emails, probably more than you. I know how to send an email, okay? Possibly sounding a bit annoyed, I say. I was going to ask, is this the first time you tried to send an email from your corporate email account? Yes, it is. Why? Could you tell me what email client you're using? I'm using my company's webmail client. Alright, that's good. Did you get any error messages that you can tell me? Yes, I don't know what it is, and I'm not at my desk right now. Give me a minute to look it up. I don't know why she wouldn't stay at her desk after giving me crap for it earlier. Okay, so the error message is, says her interpretation of the error without saying the actual error. The part where I jumped the gun and should have paid more attention. It sounds like your inbox is full. Your company has a 50 gigabyte shared mailbox limit. I can up the limit to 60 gigabytes for the rest of the month so you can continue to use the email system while you archive some old mails by printing physical copies or move them to your company's cloud storage. I don't want to archive my email. Alternatively, boss could order extra storage for email. It isn't that big of a change in cost. It should be well within the budget. I would rather archive my email then. This is where finally my bell starts to ring and I decide to check on the usage report, and sure enough, disk usage spiked over the last 2 weeks or so. For her mailbox only. So I decided to ask some questions to get better insights into what is really going on. Have you been getting any spam mails recently? Yes, a lot of these non-deliverable have been popping up in my mailbox since I got hired. I was meaning to call for that too, but I've just been so busy that I just delete them. I delete about 250 of them every morning. Note, our system caps the sender's limit for email accounts to 250 a day to prevent our system from being used by spammers. You may see where this is going. Oh, that's not good. And this has been going on since you were hired? Yes, it's really annoying. Please do something about it. Okay, I'll look into it now. Please stay on the line while I put you on hold. I dig up the SMTP log for her user account, and sure enough, every day for the past 2 weeks or so, at midnight, 250 emails are sent. Like clockwork, most of the sent emails return as non-deliverable mail due to spam flags. Now, this is a mailbox that they use for their administration, meaning they get their invoices and appointments in there. So she recently gained access rights to the mailbox, which is when things started to go wrong. Hi, Karen, are you still on the line? Karen's phone plays hold music. In the meantime, I start investigating further. I change her password and gather everything I can from our system regarding Karen's administration mailbox and normal user mailbox. 20 minutes pass without the holding music taking a break. It's really annoying, so I hang up and call back. Boss picks up. This is where things start to go to crap for Karen. Boss, insert client's corporate greeting. Insert my corporate greeting. I was just at the phone with Karen. I think her mailboxes might have been compromised for the past 2 weeks. Oh, that's interesting. I'm with Karen right now. She's been in my office for the past 20 minutes telling me how you were rude to her and that you refused to help her, and that we should find a different company for our IT needs. I'm sorry for any inconveniences that I may have caused. However, a hacked administration mailbox is a very pressing matter. I've spent the past half hour digging through logs, and I've come to the conclusion that almost directly since Karen was hired, spam started to be sent from the inbox. I think she might have used a weak password. Alright, hold on. Boss returns from a 5-minute hold. Okay, so I have asked Karen about this and she used generic dog name as her password. What needs to be done to take care of this issue? We do enforce a default password policy for all accounts on our systems. Our clients can disable this for email accounts by checking a box on the email account. Since Karen is their company's administrator, she was also tasked with creating and deleting email accounts for their colleagues. She edited her own email account to allow for insecure passwords. Her dog's name obviously didn't match the requirements, and she thought it was unfair for another company to dictate what password she could use for her corporate email account. Well, I have spent the past half hour looking for information regarding this breach. It is evident that spam has been sent from corporate domain. I cannot find evidence that the hackers accessed mail in the mailboxes. However, I cannot conclude that they didn't either. So you're saying they may have our entire administrative archive due to Karen's poor judgment calls for passwords? That is basically what it boils down to. Unfortunately, there's no way to know this for sure. We don't log access to specific mails or folders, only authentication attempts, sent mail, and received mail. I have no way of knowing if they downloaded or looked at any of your mail. I would advise you to change all passwords of every account with every site and system you use, just to be sure this doesn't result in any further breaches. That will take ages. I'll task Karen and some others to start doing this directly. Well, we use a corporate password manager. This might be a nice solution for your company, as well as it would allow you and your colleagues to store passwords securely and give extensive permissions to who can see which passwords. I'll also allow you to easily keep track of all accounts that your company has, and since you don't have to memorize the passwords, you can use different and very secure passwords for everything without any issues. Yes, please. Will you put in an order for me? I need this for all my employees. Will do. Anything else I can help you with? Yes, I need some accounts terminated, but I'll send them to you in a bit. Need to wrap things up here first. About 30 minutes later, I received a termination request for all of Karen's accounts. She apparently heard what boss said about her having to change all the company's passwords, and she refused. She was fired on the spot. Update. I just now received a call on my personal cell from the boss. I believe I once gave it to him for an on-site job at his house back when I was just getting started. He thanked me for my directness and not actually trying to fight the claims of Karen over the phone. As outgoing phone calls are recorded from my client side, the recording was able to be used as evidence in support of her termination, so she has no chance of trying to fight it and couldn't argue outside pressure caused her to get fired, as that is illegal in my country. I told him that I was happy to take care of all their business needs and hung up, feeling satisfied with my work for today. Update 2. So all this was posted yesterday on another sub, the events of the story that happened yesterday. Today, I spoke with some of the other office people from my client company regarding the aftermath of their hacked mailbox. The boss of the company asked me to send an email to his entire company to explain the situation and what happened. Apparently, I explained it so clearly to him that he wanted me to address his staff in the same manner. I wrote up an email explaining in layman's terms what happened and that it was totally preventable, and include tips for good passwords. I also told them that a password manager is being rolled out and that usage of this is mandatory, that all questions about the password manager should go directly to us and we are responsible for supporting the rollout even though it is not our product. In response to his email, me and my colleagues got several calls about what happened. They have a lot of work from home and on-the-road employees, so there is a lot of office gossip that is delayed. Most of them specifically asked what happened to Karen, as she sent a company-wide email 2 weeks earlier introducing herself and telling everyone about her responsibilities and duties. I'm important, I'm basically your new boss, do as I say or get fired. I didn't go into too much detail, but I told them all how Karen acted, and I might have accidentally mentioned something about a Reddit post for the full story to a friend who worked for the company. Whoopsie! You know what, I appreciate that Karen didn't get fired for her slip-up because, I mean, obviously that is a big mess up to make, but she didn't get fired for that. No, she got fired because she was a crappy person. Which is good, because that's the kind of mistake I would make, but I would be willing to clean up the mess. This story's called One Customer at a Time? Alright! This happened a few years back. It might turn out long. During my college years, I worked part-time at a gas station. Besides getting fuel and cigarettes, you could also get some groceries. It was basically a small supermarket, and play different lottery games, buy scratch cards, and place bets on all kinds of sporting events. Soccer, tennis, basketball, motorsport, etc. We usually have our regulars with these things. Most of them played a ticket at a time, or per week. The more annoying people were the ones betting on the sporting matches, the ones that came in at the last minute because of the most recent odds, and bringing a stack of forms for us to scan. It's relatively simple work for us. People take a form, they fill in the form, mark checkboxes, give the paper to us, we scan the filled in papers, the lottery machine either prints the valid playing ticket or gives an error, unknown value on rule X, too much markings on rule Y, time limit exceeded for Z, etc. Usually it takes around 10 seconds from accepting one form to returning the form with the playing ticket. Computer was slowish, it could take 3 seconds for the scanner to recognize the form, needs a second or two to process, and then prints. When it started printing, we could remove the form from the scanner. But yeah, some regulars come in with 10 or so of these forms. If they're the only ones, no problem. If they filled in the forms before entering the store, no problem. If they accept the ticket, no problem. Try and see where I'm heading. Day 1. The guy comes in with a few of these betting forms to be scanned. I do my thing, and he decides to fill in some extras while I'm standing at my desk. He knows that the time limit for some games are closing in, so he starts rushing me after he finishes a form. If the potential payout is too low, he calls me back and wants to cancel the ticket. Extra time, as the cancellation slot doesn't work as smoothly as we want to. While he's rushing the forms, the queue behind him starts growing. 2, 3, 4 people, either wanting cigarettes or to pay for their fuel. I decide to help them while he's still filling out a form. The guy was not amused. He snapped at me saying, "You're helping me first. I'm not done yet. You can't help more than one person at a time." Not happy. This guy acts entitled as frick because of his gambling issue, and I get to handle the grumpy customers. Very well. A few minutes later, he's done, queue is gone, and everyone paid for their stuff. Day 2, a few days shifts later. It's already quite busy as the queue doesn't seem to end. The continuous stream of customers wanting cigarettes, fuel, or change for the coffee machine seems endless. There are around 4 or 5 in line when our gambling guy comes in. At first, he takes some forms and fills them in near the coffee machine. My line is still endless as I ring up everyone as fast as I can. Pump number, loyalty card, anything else, free stamps, cigarettes, oh, not on company card, etc. I'm on fire. Gambling guy walks up to my desk and places his forms on the counter. Mid-transaction, mumbles something like, "Quickly, time," and walks back. I'm like, gotta help the queue first. When I help the next in line, the gambling guy walks up and asks why I haven't scanned his forms yet. The ticket printer can be heard, its sound when printing is just above speaking level. I reply, "I can just help one customer at a time and it's not your turn," while pointing to the queue at the desk. Needless to say, he wasn't happy. He missed most of the deadlines at the time I scanned his forms. He tried arguing me over the time he had for submitting his bets and such, but that doesn't sound like my problem. Come in a bit earlier just in case. I don't give priority to him because he walks in at the last minute because he can't get his timing and planning right. I kept doing this to him as his attitude didn't change at all and he kept coming in late and making demands. A year later, the lottery machine was removed. Manager said it took too much time administratively, never saw the guy at the gas station again. Last time I saw him, he was at a supermarket nearby where you could play these things as well. I didn't walk up to him. He was just an old customer. Hopefully he changed his attitude by now. I'll never know. You know, it's amazing. With the gas station transactions, they don't ever really last that long. Your interactions with customers are never really long. So there's very low potential for running into a jerk of a customer, but people still find a way. Wherever there's room for being a jerk, someone will do it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.